Matt, The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt next-gen patch dropped yesterday, and I spent all day basically playing The Witcher again. But I was actually capturing as well for this video, so I was working.
Oh, what a hard day's work, Dan. Playing your game of the decade over and over again.
Yeah, right. It's my favourite RPG of all time, I think. Up there with like Mass Effect, Persona 5. But yes, a phenomenal game. But like weirdly, when I do these comparison videos, I do like... Actually, we'll come back to it in a minute. Quick, brief reminder of the last gen game.
Okay.
4K mode on the One X. This is last gen. Never reached 60, solid 30.
Okay.
Now, we'll flip it for this one. Now, oh look, solid 30, solid 60.
Oh, yeah, solid lines, those.
Wait, Matt. I know what's to come.
Okay.
And it's not solid lines.
And
it's dips.
Ooh.
Which version do you reckon? Oh, it's too late. It's already happened. Yeah, the next gen ray tracing, which is dynamic resolution. It's got global illumination and all that crazy. Does dip quite a bit, to be fair, when you're moving at some crazy speeds. And even the next gen performance, which seems solid 60, does have the odd dip to like 58-ish. Which, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
the next gen ray tracing, that's not great. Dropping as low as 25.
No.
Next gen performance, dropping as low as like 57 on the odd occasion. You can forgive it, because for the most part, it's solid 60.
And one's noticeable in real time, one's not, right? Like,
yes,
dropping to 25,
exactly.
you can sort of see that happening, whereas a drop to like 55, you're like, I probably wouldn't clock that.
And the first thing you're going to notice here, Matt, is the camera angle.
Oh, okay.
So the camera in the next gen version is tighter, and you're on the left of the screen as where it used to be in the middle. Obviously, the new next gen version has the central camera if that's your bag, but I actually really liked the new next gen camera.
Yeah, it's very sort of like God of War, isn't it? Like pulling you in a bit closer, having you over that shoulder.
Yeah, and just the detail on the armor and everything. You can see the detail on the swords. Like, as you can see, the detail in the environments is greater. You can see the flowers, even in the performance version versus the original 1X version. Like, you can see more flowers, more shrubbery, more bushery. Let's go with bushery. It's a new word I just created. But yeah, going back to perfect example here as well, by the way, in terms of the grass, just thicker grass.
Yeah.
Makes the world feel a lot more alive. But yeah, usually when I do these frame rate tests and comparison videos, I do like 15 shots max. I did 28 for this, just because I was like, oh, this is great. I get to see this area and that area.
Any excuse to keep playing The Witcher.
Yeah, pretty much. But what you'll see differences between the different versions are... the actual ray tracing of the next gen version, the color is a lot. So when you see it flick now to the performance version, you'll see that the colors are a lot brighter, a lot warmer. Whereas on the performance version, it's a lot cooler.
Oh, okay.
That's not just because the time of day, because this is the exact time of day.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Like the exact same time of day. But this is actually because of the global illumination, the ray tracing. And you'll see here, right, look at the bush on the right as we go from as we go from last gen to next gen. But like, see it, just like more grass everywhere. The entire environment just pops a little bit more. And if you want to know which one looks better between next gen performance and ray tracing, I actually think performance mode looks better.
I was going to ask you that actually, because is it the sort of the global illumination type thing, or do you think it's the resolution dip?
I would say that the ray tracing version is more about the more atmospheric lighting than it is about the improved textures.
Okay.
And I it's a dynamic resolution, but I'm fairly sure that it's obvious to see that the performance runs at a higher resolution than the ray tracing. Like a nice little night shot here as well, Matt.
See, that looks nice with the ray tracing. That, like...
Yeah, exactly. Looks more atmospheric, right?
Yeah.
There's a couple more shots in a bit that you're actually like, oh, holy shit, it's massively different.
Okay. But it's, I mean, The Witcher is always a very sort of, like, artistically... It's stylized. It's not like super realistic, is it? There is a stylization to it. So It definitely seems to be a sort of personal preference between that sort of more realistic ray tracing lighting and the lighting you'll get on the performance mode, right?
Yeah, and you'll see now the ray tracing in the colour in the top left corner of the ray tracing. You'll see that emblem on the wall.
Okay.
Just when it flicks to the next performance shot in a second, you can just see that it loses a little bit of the colour. The bricks are a lot less warmth to the entire shot.
Yeah.
And that's the massive difference between. I actually really enjoyed the ray tracing mode in the end, but the fact that it doesn't run at a solid 30 is a little bit annoying.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, but it was completely impossible for me to match the two shots up, because by the time I'd worked out that there was different camera angles, because that's how long it's been since I played The Witcher, mate.
You didn't notice
years.
that it was all zoomed in until you went back to the old ones.
No, yeah, and this is great because I put it side by side, because when I was playing the next gen, I was like, it doesn't actually look that great. But when you put them side by side, you see little things like more colour in the environment. Like, here you go. If you look above the Witcher, Mr. Geralt now, see that orange building?
Yep.
Right, in the next shot, it changes completely.
Oh.
And it's almost like there's been a fire.
Yeah.
And there's a load of that stuff throughout the environments that I noticed that it's got nothing to do with where I am in the game, because this is the exact same game. This is completed. This is pretty much maxed out. Geralt, done every mission. So yeah, there are little things like that between the different versions that they've added to make the world seem more real, believable.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they were going
for.
But yeah.
There's more foliage on the right there with the flowers and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And as you can see, the performance one's a little bit brighter, but the less realistic in terms of lighting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing you just need to keep an eye on when we're going from all the ray tracing shots to the performance shots.
Okay.
It's oh look, the lighting changes quite drastically, to be fair. But this shot still had lighting issues in terms of where day went from, let's say dawn to dusk, whereas suddenly the light just pops on out of nowhere. Same last gen, same this gen, so they clearly haven't fixed everything. But as you can see, the dandelions, blue, I don't know what they're called. I'm not a florist. But yeah, again, just look at the lighting on the right. It looks a lot moodier.
Yeah, and in the archway right next to where it says ray tracing as well, you can sort of see how that's lit differently. And then you switch to performance, right, and it's a completely different vibe. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, but performance obviously is a 60 FPS for the most part, and on top of that, better textures. So I can't see many people playing the ray tracing.
No, because even you're looking at Geralt there, you can see that the resolution on him is lower in the ray tracing one. When it switches to performance, you suddenly see a lot more of the armor.
Yeah, exactly. And look at things like the red little thing.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, look at that. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I'm all about resolutions, to be honest. I'm not this. I would have preferred better visuals than ray tracing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think that does make sense.
But this is the perfect shot to see the difference that ray tracing can make to some environments. So when it comes in, do you see that? The light's coming through the stained glass more.
Yeah.
If it's a lot warmer, and so there are definite advantages to the ray tracing mode.
Yeah, it just depends on the scene, right?
Yeah. But then again, it's you don't really want to play at 25 FPS, do you? So, and admittedly, that's only.
How many?
Not some of the time.
How many drops did you
portion.
find like that? Was it mostly when you were travelling at high speed on your horse, or was there times where it dropped otherwise?
It was mostly in combat on your horse, so all the things that you don't want it to drop.
Yeah, quite a lot of the game, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I literally put a minute into the test into our software, and it came up with basically, I reckon 75% of it was shit frame rates, which is a bit awful. But that is me going at high speed, racing through the open world. But that's why I did it, to test it. So, yeah, I mean, I honestly can't. I love ray tracing mode, and this actually looks great. Love the lighting, but I can't see why anyone would choose to have that as their go-to.
Do you think you'd always pick the performance mode? Because
Yeah,
you will be
look at this.
returning.
Look at the lighting in the cabin. See the little light on in the cabin?
Oh,
You
yeah.
can see it. That kind of stuff, it just makes the world seem like actually crazy, like believable and realistic. Whereas, like, this is a little bit fake. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, it's clear that if you were in this situation, that it'd be a lot darker scene, like it is in the ray tracing.
Yeah, it's funny though, isn't it? Because like it's only when you put it side by side that I really get a feel for that. And I think if I put it on performance mode, there's never a moment when I'm playing when I'm like, this is less realistic than it could be. Do you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
That's always the difficult thing with doing comparisons, right? When, yeah, like you say, you put it side by side and suddenly you notice everything. But I imagine when you were playing through it, right?
I didn't notice anything.
Yeah.
And
So-
I even didn't think it was as good as the One X version, because this is the Series X we're using here for the next gen. I didn't think it was as good as the One X, and then obviously you get it side by side, and you do swipes like this, because you can definitely tell it's better. Because like when we go from 4K to ray tracing now, there is an improvement in obviously more shrubs and stuff like that, but the performance mode is just a lot clearer than the 4K mode on the last gen consoles.
Yeah.
But it's a weird one because The Witcher 3 was actually already a pretty good game before they did this next gen, because they'd already done the 4K and the performance patch.
Yeah, loads of updates, right? And we're looking at the Xbox One X version, aren't we, as well? Like,
Yeah.
obviously it'll be a
Which
huge
is the
step
best
up.
version, right?
Yeah, if people have just gone from like the classic Xbox One to a Series X suddenly, this will look
mate,
amazing.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And also, like, even if you have got a One X version, it's a free upgrade, so nobody can really grumble. But like, look at I like this. The wall on the right. They've got some more. I'm going to say bluebells.
yeah,
And poppies, things like that, and just a lot more colour in the environment as well. And because of the ray tracing as well, the colour's a lot more vibrant as well.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But yeah, like, it's a free update, so we can't have any grumbles about this.
no, and it's not.
And if you're buying the game as well, mate, that means you either don't own it on last gen or have not played it on last gen. Then it's a fantastic game, and this is a fantastic version.
Yeah, and the update is also, it's not just visuals. There's a few sort of like quality of life things as well. There's less fall
camera
damage.
thing.
Yeah, there's less fall damage as well, which is like
is there?
like a really weird little change, right? But there's stuff like that. They fixed a load of bugs. So
Witcher, Netflix content,
yes,
like
isn't
new quests,
yeah? I forgot about
new
that.
quest.
Haven't they got the Nilfgaard armor from the Netflix series as well? Yeah,
there's some little things like that.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool update, to be honest. And if you've never played The Witcher, you should absolutely buy this version. Like, it's called the Complete Edition, right?
yes, I believe so. If you buy,
Yeah.
if you do buy it, it's the complete edition. Yeah.
Yeah, but well, actually, even on the Xbox, it's because it's smart delivery. It's updated the old game to Complete Edition now. And also, what you'll see here on the right is the ray tracing when it comes to the water, because obviously it's global illumination, real time like reflections and stuff like that. So you see how it actually changes the water, and you see the reflections compared to like
Yeah. I spotted
Just-
that in an earlier scene, and it was the only thing I could look at, because I still like how the old gen water looks.
me
But,
too.
but once it flicks over, you can tell they're going for a slightly more realistic, next gen, how the water looks, how it reflects.
Yeah, and you can see the difference in colours between the 4K and the ray tracing here, because the 4K mode on the original is pretty much the same as the performance on both the next gen and the last gen in terms of colours, because there's no ray tracing.
Yeah.
So I will say, actually, there is a slight difference between the colour palettes on the last gen and the next gen, regardless. So yeah, I hit another water shot as well, so you can see. You can actually see reflections and stuff.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So compared to, well, you can't see anything on any of the three other versions.
Oh, that's a super interesting little one, actually. That's the one where you've most seen that's the biggest difference I've seen in ray tracing.
In terms of what, across the board?
Yeah, across all these shots.
Oh,
That's
joking?
that's the one that really made me go, oh, there's a big difference there. Yeah.
Anyway, Matt, that brings us to a close. The Witcher 3 is one of the greatest games of all time. Absolutely play it. Who gives a hell? Whatever. It's fantastic. The next gen update, it's free if you played it last gen. I mean, that's all we got to say, Matt. Thanks for watching, folks. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Cheers, folks. Goodbye.
Bye.